How much can I contribute to TSP in 2025? And when exactly do I start the new contributions? Stick around, you'll find out. Welcome back, Furzonians. I'm Chris Barfield with barfieldfinancial.com. I'm a CPA, FURS expert, TSP millionaire. Today we're going to talk about how much money you can get into your TSP in 2025 through contribution. I'm getting this question about pretty much every day right now. We're in November, and this is typical each year. Start getting a lot of questions. How much can I put in? And just as important, when do I start them? So we'll talk about that today. This year, it's a little bit more confusing than normal. So I've created a little bit of a PowerPoint here to help illustrate this. Depending on how old you are, determines how much TSP contributions you can make in 2025. So first tier, if you are under 50 still at the end of 2025, so December 31st of 2025, you are still less than 50 years of age, you're 49 or under, then you can put in a total of $23,500. If you want to divide that evenly over the 26 pay periods, it would be $904 a pay period. There is no limit per pay period, though. Please understand that. So for those of you that want to put in more earlier, you can do that. You could put in $1,000 a pay period or $2,000, whatever you want. Just understand if you put in, $1,000 a pay period, let's say, then in 24 pay periods, you're going to max out, which means that the last 2 pay periods, you will not be putting anything in, which means you will be missing out on matching because you have to put in at least 5% per pay period to get the match. All right, so the total for if you are under 50, $23,500, that equates to, if you divide by 26 pay periods, that's $904 a pay period. If you are turning 50 or older, so that means that on December 31st of 2025, if you have reached your 50th birthday or any age past that, you have a different limit, $31,000 even. This would include, this is the regular $23,500 plus the $7,500 catch-up contributions. If you divide the $31,000 by 26 pay periods, then you will have $1,193 a pay period. If you want to put in an even amount every single pay period, that's what you do. Now, please understand something here. You don't actually have to be 50. This is a misconception that is out there. If you turn 50 anytime during 2025, then at the very beginning of the year, you can still start the higher amount, the $1,194 a pay period. You do not have to wait until you're 50. So if you turn 50 in July of next year, you can still start in the beginning of the year doing $1,193 a pay period. So it's if you are turning 50 or older. So under 50, $23,500, over 50, $31,000, unless, this is where we get a little more confusing in 2025. We have not had this option before. If you are turning 60 to 63, so if you will be 60, 61, 62, or 63 years of age at the end of December 31st, 2025, then you have the max limit of $34,750. So there's an additional catch up if you are 60 to 63. Divide by 26, this is $1,337 a pay period. Yes, I'm rounding up to the next highest dollar. That's fine. Don't get hung up on rounding down. If you round up, yes, the last pay period you will max out by a couple of dollars. It's okay. You won't go over. They won't let you go over. That's fine. Now, to further complicate it, if you are turning 64 or older, do not ask me why this is the law. This makes no sense to me. Then you go back down. You've missed this extra period here for whatever reason. You've missed this extra amount. You are now back down to $31,000 or $1,193 a pay period. Now, these are assuming that you are still working. Please don't misunderstand me. If you're retired, you cannot contribute anymore to TSP. you have to still be working for the government in a, under FERS or whatever to continue to contribute to your TSP. So let's recap. Yes, I know it is very confusing. Let's try to put all of this on one page. If you are under 50, it's $904 a pay period. If you are 50 to 59, it is $11.93 a pay period. If you are 60 to 63, it's $13.37 a pay period. And 64 or older, we're back down to $11.93 a pay period. So find out whatever age you will be in, or whatever age group, I guess, that you will be in by the end of 2025, and then that will determine how much that you can put in. For you law enforcement special category guys, you're not going to probably still be working unless you switch to an admin position. So that is very unusual. We have not had that tiered system in the past. We've just had a two-tiered system, under 50 or 50 and older. Now we have a special category for 60 to 63, but then after that, it goes back to the regular over 50. No idea why. That's just what they came up with. They will probably change that at some point. So we've determined what amount you can put in each pay period. When do we start this? This is the big question everybody has. When do I start? Do I start pay period 1 of next year? Do I start at the end of this year, pay period 26? When does it end? Well, a lot of this is going to depend on which pay processor that you are under. We're going to start with NFC. We're going to start with NFC because that's the bulk of there's like 600,000 or so that get paid through NFC. So if you get paid through National Finance Center or USDA, Department of Agriculture, whatever you want to call it, then pay period 25 of calendar year 2024 is actually the first pay period for tax year 2025. So if you want to start your new higher contributions for 2025, you make that election effective pay period 25 of calendar year 2024. That's when you would start. There are 26 pay periods. Sometimes we get confused because we look at the pay calendar and we see there's 26, but I don't know how many are in this year and when they fall into next year. I'm going to show you that in just a second here. But pay period 25 of 2024 through pay period 24 of 2025, that equals 26 pay periods. So you take the limit, 23,500, you divide that by 26 pay periods, assuming you want to put in an equal amount. Whatever it is that you want to put in equally, if you want to divide by 26, that would make sure that you hit every single pay period for tax year 2025. Let me show you that in a little more detail. Here we have the NFC pay calendar for 2024. Now, if you do not get paid through the National Finance Center, you get paid through DFAS or MyPay or something, bear with me. This is for NFC right now. If you go down here and look, you'll see that pay period 25 actually does end in 2024. However, the payment does not arrive until tax year 2025. So because the pay date is not until 2025, then pay period 25 is actually in tax year 2025. So these two pay periods will actually be for tax purposes in 2025, which is how TSP goes off of everything. So here we have pay period 26 from 2024. Now, if we go down to the end of 2025, so we're going to the end of calendar year 2025, you'll see that pay period 25, same situation as this year for us. Pay period 25 and pay period 26 are in tax year 2026. So that means then that we have, if you get paid through NFC, pay period 25 through pay period 24, that equals 26 pay periods. So that's NFC. If you get paid through DFAS, MyPay, then they do it a little bit differently. They go ahead and start it by just naming the pay period. So they're just like 0-1. Regardless of what you call it, if you get paid through DFAS, the first pay period for tax purposes in 2025 would be effective or start December 15th of 2024. So you want to make your election, however you do it. Some agencies have told me you have to do it before that date. Some agencies have told me you have to wait till you're in that pay period to do it, a little bit different than NFC. However it works for your agency, you make sure that you take advantage of that by your rules. But it's starting December 15th, and again, 26 pay periods. Now, if you get paid by another payroll processor, there are multiple ones out there. You just need to make sure that you check and see what is applicable for you. But this covers the vast majority of the government. But make sure that you check your own payroll processor. If you want some more information, some more detail about what exactly the catch-up contributions are, or maybe you don't, believe me, that's fine. Go over to TSP, tsp.gov. I'll put this link in the description below. You will see the different ages and how that works. So it's basically 23,500. Everybody can do that much. If you want to do more than 23,500, if you're turning over 50, you can put in the 7,500 if you're turning 60 to 63. We talked about that. They go into some more detail down here where you can read about it. One last thing for those of you that have been around for a while and have been doing catch-up contributions, the system has changed. So you used to have to fill out a form that you would have to agree to put in additional 7,500. Now that whole system has gone away. It's much easier now. Just think of it like this. You have a higher limit, so you could put in more. Hopefully that helps everybody figure out how much they can get in exactly in TSP, including any catch-up contributions they may be eligible for. Also, hopefully you know now exactly when you can start those. But again, please go out and make sure that your payroll processor, you follow the rules and the policies for your payroll processor. Make sure, because not everybody is on the same number of pay periods and having the same start and end of each pay period. Okay, so it might be different for some people. Thanks. Share this with others because I get this question literally every day. So lots of people have this question. It's good to revisit this each year to see how much you're putting in. Sometimes people forget how much money they're putting in TSP. They forget to raise it each year. You'll be getting a raise in January, approximately 2% for most of you working. So take some of that and increase your TSP contributions if you haven't been maxing out. Thanks. Like, subscribe, share with some other people. Feed your TSP and know when to start it.